Hi there, in this video we'll be talking about how to create a meme coin on Ethervista. The process just got much easier because they now have a meme coin template that you can use, which will automatically give you a good score with auditing platforms from the get-go. So instead of going through the hassle of creating or deploying the contract yourself, you can now use the launcher provided very easily to get started and have your token deployed as an Ethervista token. Okay, so all you need is metadata such as the name of the token, the supply, the symbol, and you can decide if you want the token to be tradable only on Ethervista such that you will be earning fees, or here it says trade only on Ethervista and benefit from all the fees. So I don't know, assuming someone decides to trade this token from say Uniswap, if it will evade they will be able to evade the fees, but as long as they trade via Ethervista, they will earn you'll be earning fees. So typically there is a fee structure when you launch the token. I don't know if that's optional. In a subsequent video, when I find out the answer to that, I'll be discussing it, and I'll touch on it a bit in the course of this video. Otherwise, you can click on this. No, I want to stay poor, and so trade only on Ethervista and benefit from all the fees. And perhaps by choosing this option, they can trade it on any DEX, Uniswap, PancakeSwap, etc. Now, if you are to create the token, the price range for creating the token is around $4.48 currently. So basically, this is going to mint the supply of the token into your wallet. So basically you are the deployer of the token. Now, after you've created the token, that's not all. It's not listed yet. So you have to add some LP against the token by coming to this LP portal here at the bottom. So assuming you have the token deployed, you will have a contract address available to you. You'll paste it here and you compare it against, say, ETH. So let's see if I can pick one address. I'll do a full-fledged tutorial when I'm decided on if I want to create a token. I just don't want to create like a random token. But whenever that's the case, I will do complete tutorial. So here you are going to be putting the amount of the supply that you want to pair against ETH. So let's say as a project you want to keep 10% of the supply to further the project, then you don't necessarily have to put the 1 million tokens shown at the top here. You can remove 10% of that and put only say 9 million or 900,000 at the bottom, assuming you want to keep 10% of the supply for yourself. Now, I don't know how much your budget is, but it's recommended based on their tweets that the minimum, at the very least, you should put $1 worth of ETH here, so that at least trades can go into the pool. But of course, in a $1 worth of LP, hardly can people trade into that. So it's best to put something substantial. I don't know what your budget is, but say 500. Now, of course, yes, or even more, basically. If you want the project to have any relevance and people can trade against it, then a substantial amount of LP is of relevance. Now, this is going to set the price of the token. So if you put 1 ETH, for example, this is worth 2,300 against the 90% of the supply. That will determine the price of the token, including the market cap. This, as is going to be a low cap token, favorable for participants because a large bulk of the supply is already put in and the inflation is going to be minimal considering you have only 10%. Now, I don't know why this is not scrolling down. Just a moment. Okay, so I used the tab there. Now you can incorporate fees. Now this is the listing process. You can incorporate fees. I'm not sure if it's compulsory to or if you can escape it, leave it without fees. But let's say you put fees of 1% again for buys against sell. Then whenever they want to swap, there will be a 1% fee removed, whether they're selling or buying. Protocol address, I believe this is the address that will be receiving the revenue raised from fees. I believe so. I'm not very sure. Here it says protocol address is either a smart contract which handles the fee or the creator address. Wow, interesting stuff. We'll need to dig in deeper into this because I don't know what protocol fee is exactly and if it is compulsory or if you can leave it blank. I would assume that protocol fee is going to Ethervista protocol and the ecosystem. So I don't know if it's possible to leave this blank in the course of launching. Let's experiment. Wow, always showing that. So let's put one here. So give approval to withdraw 900,000 Bonzi. Let's reject that. I'm going to remove this. Okay, so it looks like protocol fee is compulsory. Now, if it's compulsory, I will be assuming that that is the revenue per token that launches on Ethervista that goes to Ethervista. They have a treasury which will initiate buyback and burn and favor the ecosystem at large. So it looks like this is compulsory. So you have to factor this into your gas fee model. You know, if you want, say, your total your tax reflections, if your total reflections, you want it to be 3%, you have to factor in the what goes to the protocol. So let's assume that we want the total, let's see, 0. So you can't even incorporate 0.5. So the minimum is 1. Okay, so if you put 1 here and you put 2 here, for example, then the reflection will be 3% on buys and 3% on sales. Now let's see, if you put 1 here, then it will be 3% on buys and 2% on sales. Let's see if that's obtainable. Okay, so that is likely obtainable. So when you set this up and you launch, you are going to be contributing Ethereum and 900,000 Bonzi tokens to the LP, and meaning that you need to have this one Ethereum available in your wallet. Now, before that, do well to incorporate metadata such as your site URL, image that will be on display and all that. Now, it's not compulsory, but it's favorable if you do so. Then you launch LP. Now the good thing about Ethervista is you are launching automatically on Dex Screener, so you are footing the LP yourself, although other people can contribute to the LP and make it more robust. Now, according to Ethervista, if you burn a portion of the LP, you may be considered for a white listing whereby you are featured on their decks, and the two tokens that burned a portion of their supply and are now featured on the swapper have gone on to do well, since the news that they have been whitelisted, Bonzi and Clippy. So you may want to consider doing so. Burning it also gives you a good outlook on platforms like Deck Screener and may give people ease when it comes to buying your token, because there's typically a signal on Deck Screener indicating that you are burned. For example, it's not shown here, but there's usually a lock sign showing when you are burned your token. But I don't think it will apply if you burned a portion of it. I think it will apply only when you burned all of it. So because I believe that Vista has burned a portion of their supply, but there's no lock indicator here. Altogether, one thing that the Vista protocol does is it doesn't allow you to withdraw your liquidity before 5 days. So when you launch, your liquidity is locked within the Ethervista protocol for 5 days, meaning that when you are interacting with any token that is 5 days young, you're at the very least you're assured that the dev cannot pull liquidity. So it's best that after the 5 days mark or leading up to that, the dev has shown interest in burning or locking liquidity for you to stay in the token, stuff like that. You have to consider all these things all together when launching through Ethervista. If not Ethervista, there's another option that I'm looking into, which I've done a tutorial for, an introductory tutorial that's quite interesting as well, but has a different methodology to it. It's called Tax Farm. You can check it out. Now in the description, there are a bunch of productivity tools there that you should take advantage of while they last. That's about it for this video. Let's see what this is. Okay, that's about it for this video. By the way, when you launch a token, of course, because there is a tax, you earn a revenue basically. But your revenue, I believe, will come from the tax, not the protocol revenue. I can't remember exactly, but you'll be able to claim your rewards in the rewards portal. So making for a sustainable project, one that is capable of generating revenue. Okay, so consider that also in your tokenomics. Some people may want to put 100% of the supply in the LP, burn it, and rely on growing the project and earning from the reflections. So all this should be considered in your tokenomics, and that's about it for this video. Stay awesome. Subscribe to Web3 Wikis on every channel and every social media platform.